People have been collecting weird things for all of time. I'm not talking about things that are like the normal collectibles that everybody gets, like coins, comic books, or records, or anything that are kind of in the normal collector's world. I'm talking about things that are a bit weirder. Everybody's got the right to like what they like. They can do kind of whatever they want as long as it doesn't harm people or cause any like weird stuff to happen or whatever. But we do have people among us that enjoy collecting something or things that everybody else in their right mind would just leave alone or discard. Now let's look at their first person and their collection. What he collects is known as navel plushies, or the lint that's in your belly button. Naming it navel plushies makes it sound so much less disgusting and weird. So that's what they called it, or what he calls it, I guess. So for the past 30 years, this guy has been collecting his own belly button lint, or as he likes to call them, plushies. And in 2010, he entered into the Guinness World Record book with 22 grams of his little productions, as he likes to call them. And he said on that occasion, he also said that the thermal underwear provided a larger and more beautiful production. That makes it feel way more uncomfortable than it should be. But if we just take a second, look at this guy's face. He is... I don't... He's very proud, and he color coordinates his lint. Is that color coordinated? I want to find out more information about this guy. Like, does he have anybody else in his life to tell him this is not okay? This is a little weird, a little too much. And it doesn't even... He's apparently a librarian in Australia too, so... he's got responsibilities. And moving on, we all know at least one kind old lady in our lives that has had a shelf of random porcelain dolls, or a box of porcelain dolls somewhere in the attic, kept like some weird trophies.
My name is Kathy Libraty, and I have an amazing doll collection that I want to share with you. Come on in.
Kathy's house is filled with apparently over 1,000 dolls of different origins. And she has a little video on YouTube that you can check out where she showcases them and kind of gives a little bit of a backstory.
I actually started collecting dolls about 25 years ago. I was on the road on the way to the airport to pick up my parents, and we passed by this house that was being emptied out, and this fellow was throwing all kinds of antiques into a dumpster, and I noticed that there were some doll legs sticking out of a box, and I said to my husband Frank, "Stop the car, I want to get those dolls." And he said, "Sure." This is a French doll, and she's all original, and she's around 1880, made in France. She's got her original dress, original blonde mohair wig, and she is just gorgeous, and she retails now for about $55,000. And I didn't pay that much for her, but I did pay a lot.
There's something so horrifying about porcelain dolls. Not about dolls in general. You know, there's something very specific about a porcelain doll. The looks in their eyes, the lifelessness. But in her 25 years of obsessing over getting these dolls, she's roped her husband apparently into doing this too, and he helps repair them and assort and organize them for her, and I don't know. I feel like if you have that many dolls, you're either trying to make your own like little doll demon army, or you have some weird obsession about trapping children in your house. That's just my take on it.
I only allow dolls in certain rooms.
So we've gone over belly button lint. We've gone over porcelain doll collections, and I know there's a lot more people that have a lot of dolls. So she's not alone in that endeavor. Maybe the guy with the belly button lint, he might be a lone soldier on the battlefield, and he can be left there, because whatever. But it can get a little more eccentric and weird, believe it or not. So, how about hair? Specifically, how about celebrity hair? Meet John Reznikoff.
Today in Chicago, a small clump of Elvis Presley's hair was sold at auction for $15,000. Let me repeat that. Somebody paid $15,000 for a patch of Elvis's hair. And yesterday, in London, 12 single strands of Michael Jackson's hair were purchased for $2,000. There's one man who had a hand in both of these hair milestones. His name's John Reznikoff, and he's believed to have the world's largest and most valuable collection of historic human hair.
If I could ask him a couple questions, one would be, where do you keep or store your hair? And the second would be, don't lie, did you smell your collection of hair? Have you gone like, this is what Abraham Lincoln's hair would have smelled like?
Please, a moment to reflect.
If it's got a little blood on it, it's a little suspicious. It might have got blown off in his last seconds of life, and somebody just snatched it up and put it in a baggie, or no, not a baggie. It'd probably have been a jar. But anyway, I'm pretty sure that specifically belongs in a museum, not to quote Indiana Jones, but I'm sure somebody out there wants that for historical purposes or for science. So be careful, someone might steal your Abraham Lincoln hair.
John Reznikoff joins us from Fairfield, Connecticut. Mr. Reznikoff, welcome.
Thank you, Guy.
So help me figure this out. What is the appeal of collecting hair, human hair?
It kind of is centered in Victorian tradition. And 100 years ago, if somebody famous came to town, let's say Robert E. Lee, you didn't ask for his autograph like you would a celebrity today. You asked for a little snippet of his hair.
And he would let you actually take scissors to his hair and cut it, or he would just pull it out?
Well, usually he might be with somebody who might have a knife or scissors, and he'd cut a little strand, and that's how a lot of the hair in my collection is preserved. Not all of it. Some of it has a little bit more macabre origins.
I read that in your collection that you have hair samples from Abraham Lincoln as well, Albert Einstein, and Marilyn Monroe. How did you get these?
Well, the Abraham Lincoln hair is one that I'm very proud of. That is the actual lock, and again, this is a little bit macabre. It is the lock that cleared the wound the night of the assassination on April 14th, 1865, and it was obtained and passed down through the surgeon's hands and his son eventually, and held in a family for about 80, 90 years, and ended up with me.
Also, I don't know if I agree with the fact that he's like, it's like an autograph from the Victorian era. You'd collect hair, you know, if you really admired someone, you'd collect their hair instead of getting their autograph. I don't, keeping parts of their dead bodies, I don't really think is the same as collecting someone's signature on like a Twilight poster or something. It's not the same. Now you can bargain because you want to make it seem like you're a little less weird by collecting people's hair, but don't try that hard. and make everybody else that feels like I got a signature or I got a picture with somebody that I saw on the street in like Hollywood to somebody's hair that is being auctioned off. It's a little weirder, and you know it. Don't quit. Just stop it. So I do, in conclusion, believe that there are a lot more weird collections out there. Not just belly button lint, not just porcelain dolls with lifeless eyes, not just hair from people that are no longer among us. But I do believe there's other ones out there. Maybe even so far as someone that likes to collect their own scabs. I have no idea. Don't want to look into it that much. But all I can say is, to each their own. If that's what you like collecting, if you're like, I like collecting movies, I like collecting coins, I like collecting comic books, I like collecting action figures, all this type of stuff, alright. If you like collecting things, do it. Whatever makes you happy, and honestly, sometimes we need a little distraction from life, and this might be that little distraction that keeps you mentally fit and well enough to not go on a rampage and, cause issues. I have no idea. But anyway, have fun collecting, or just maybe keep people out of it.